On one of the most remote islands in Australia lives an ancient Yananu woman. She has lived on her island for nearly 100 years, surviving off the land and sea. Throughout her life, she has fought to maintain her culture and protect her ancient language from extinction. To the Yananu, she is Big Boss, the last leader of the Crocodile Islands. The Yananu people are an indigenous group from Australia. They have survived off the sea for thousands of years, catching fish, turtles and other marine life. Made up of 3 tribes called Maranga, they occupy an area 500 kilometres east of Darwin called the Crocodile Islands. Murunga Island is Big Boss's grandmother's land, and it's where she calls home. The island has remained virtually untouched from the modern world.
This is a turtle egg. Every time when we come every morning for fishing, when we see turtle egg, we like to get turtle egg, and we always take them, but not too much. Sometimes we get 1 bucket full, and then take them home, share.
In the past, around 100 Yananu lived on Murunga, but during her life, Big Boss has seen that number rapidly decline.
We've got no leader left. There's only one oldest. He knows more story, more than us. And that's Baymarrwangga up there, the old lady.
Most evenings, the Yananu gather to dance. Every dance is unique and has an important story that links to the ancestors. As the most senior person, Big Boss teaches her kin the proper dance techniques.
She's been dancing when she was young, and she knows everything's culture.
Ngarako, ngaramana Baymarrwangga, ngaramana Baymarrwangga, malara. Indi ngara, tulang ngarabon, Murunga, pon ngara. Indi ngara maipal, rakai, derpu, jalpingu, rical, wenaka, kuya. Doko go, purain, doko. Ay ka ngurang nila. Yung nguro naman na ba, kujinaga. Huyin chat. Kulta, ngurayak kara. Kultilip.
For thousands of years, Yananu was the language of the islands. Big Boss's ancestors gave Yananu names to all the sights, animals and phenomenon. However, today only Big Boss recalls what they are. A chance meeting with a visiting school teacher would help Big Boss with her plans to save her language and culture.
Many years ago, in 1993, when I first went to Murunga Island, there I met with Baymarrwangga and I said, "Yo, Namid." And she said, "Don't speak that language, speak Yanango, the language of the islands." And I said, "I've never heard Yanango before." So I went back to her and I said, there's only few words of Yanango and there's no way to find out. And she said, well, we will write together all of the words down and keep those words and all of the knowledge inside them strong for the future generations. It was at that time that I realised that here was an incredible understanding, a whole world in a language that describes a culture that is unknown.
Wanggala, panyakannya bulletin apa? Bulletin ada Wanggala Murunga. Menberata berpultan berapa wan. Menberata berpultan dengan binanguan. Benar-benar bawa nabun jangan kuku di bagul kulunguin di mantuna. Di sini melukai melupai kumyin namanya, dan aku nangkum.
For many years, Big Boss took Bentley around the Crocodile Islands, mapping all her ancestral sites and teaching him Yananu language. With this knowledge, he created the first ever Yananu maps, which people use as a learning resource. While researching about Yananu culture, Bentley stumbled upon historical photographs taken on Murunga Island in 1937. He showed them to Big Boss, and she recalled when a curious man visited her island.
Kami nak geri anak becak guna mana becak baru tum cinta. Nah, anakku. Nak kena berada mang pun na, malah bela awal lima balanda. Anda pilih pengai ngani doktor rumcin. Pilih kamaram kabulu kalau ngayak ka. Pukul angkai ngai marana. Kalau marit nana.
Dr. Donald Thompson, an anthropologist who worked with the people of northeast Arnhem Land, photographed the lives of the Yananu people. He is recognised as taking some of the most historical photographs of Indigenous people in the world. Big Boss recognised everyone in the photographs, including her mother and kin. But there was one person she didn't recognise. It was the first time Big Boss saw herself as a young woman. Today, she is the last surviving Yananu from his photographs.
And I thought to myself, this is absolutely marvellous. I'll have to stay as close as I can to Baymarrwangga and become part of the things she does in order to be able to see this new world. And through her eyes and her understanding, I came to know the world of the Yolngu people, and particularly of the Crocodile Islands, in a way different to all of the others that I'd read about and all of the other stories I'd heard. Because hers is such a long story and it's so intricate, she transcends all of the other knowledge. She's the key nodal individual in a kinship network that stretches right across northeast Arnhem Land.
Kalau tabla kapo, maramba, nangkung ngaraku, ringgit ngaraku. Ayah ngarakula, yan nango, yan ngaramanawangan, abila mana. Pilih man, ngarakula ta, jamal kumana nyanim kumana melguma rata merjina.
Sometimes my old mom used to teach me, and I'll put in my mind. So I keep it a story about old mom.
Today, yeah, you got a knife, you got a chipping spanner, you got a shovel, you got a spade, you got a pig. Long time, yeah, we only had stone axe. Yindi yama problem, yindi yama. Because we want that canoe to become a canoe from the tree. In olden days, I used to do that. I was still growing. My father taught me, and mother, Laurie, she taught me too.
Baymarrwangga has been working on passing through generations the knowledge of the country and the sea and relationships and its history for a lifetime, for 95 years. So she gets a great deal of satisfaction out of all of these projects like putting together the little boat in order to bring out the words and then be able to teach children about their own history.
Yala ko nangkum nama bago manambrong kaya marat tayo. Rat tayo bago manambrong kaya nana ko nama nangkum. Nana ko manggir bago mano. Nana ko kuma nangkum mano barwan yakara. Lepa yo. Kalau nair pernah mewana ngandawara. Pampa mana lepa kalau nair pernah. Pampa mana gue mana latena. Tabak tenangal mana lepa. Pej ngongan dawara. Pampa mana. Yur ngoyong ajili. Mana kira kuat nak kumila makalian kuluk mana. Kuyako. Miapunuku. Antingku. Kaya kemana?
Travelling by bark canoes, people would often paddle up to 130 kilometres to the outer reefs. Battling strong underwater currents, fierce storms, crocodiles and sharks, many families would often perish at sea. Amongst the first visitors to Marunga were the Macassans from Indonesia. Goods were traded with Yananu, allowing the Macassans the right to fish in their seas. The most valuable resource introduced was the sturdier dugout canoe. This vessel, which allowed for safer travels on rough seas, enabled the Yananu to hunt sea turtles.
Yaktera mana kaliana pada ba. Kare warantana alp mena lepa yo. Lepa ma lepa wampara mana nana mana jama.
The Macassans came to spoil us. They did trading, and they started giving us materials and all that. And they also taught us how to plant coconut, how to plant sugarcane, watermelons, all that. They taught us. Big Boss loved it, planting potatoes, sweet potatoes, watermelons. They love planting garden.
Well, the kind of things that Baymarrwangga made me do immediately that I started to work with her was it wasn't going to be me working with her, it was going to be me building a relationship by working for her. She made me do everything, collecting rania and making pandanus mats and bags.
Hey, Wanda! Hey! Karena pala nango, irpana kompera na narago. Kinakurani ako, umat ko, ungalimal na, uyan nang uwangalimal no.
After collecting supplies, most mornings the Yananu women weave mats and bags. Michelle, a senior woman, has been working alongside Big Boss throughout her life and is now helping Bentley translate Yananu language.
Laurie Baymarrwangga, kara ko mari merengo, ngara ngai marge kongal, pingo berengo ngara ngutar. Kangai ngara ngar marge kongal meriten, kadar suai ngara marge na kunan ngorom goin.
In a community like this one, knowledge is a currency and you can't just give your knowledge away. You have to be careful and you have to have authority to give it and you have to have the right to take it. By working for her and getting resources for her, she then showed me the shape of a day and also all of the meanings attached to it.
For the first time in 50 years, Big Boss began making traditional fish traps to teach her kin how Yananu people used to catch fish on Marunga Island.
Our lady, she knows how to make a net. Our lady, she's still keep on telling us what to do. Young people like us keep on teaching us while we're young.
She taught us how to make fish traps. She goes out there on her own at Karata. She makes a fish trap. She said, "Shh, come. Let's start walking, but don't make noise, just slowly." And then she said, "Listen." We could hear the big fish and the small fish splashing. Some are being caught already. And she said, "Don't shout, otherwise they'll all disappear." And we walk up, she says, "Now light up the fire." Then we make fire and we could see, "Oh, wow, Mom, there's big Mom." "Don't shout," I said, "Shh, quietly pick up the fish." I said, why can't we shout and yell, Mom?" "Not during the night, because the ancestors could make those fish disappear and you would go hungry."
Lurkun kong ten ngarabia ikan jama. So she left only one meal. So I don't know who will be the Yulngo like her. There's no one here who passed away.
This photograph, taken by Dr. Donald Thompson, shows Big Boss's husband and father at the same fish trap location on Marunga Island in 1930.
Still ngarak mana jama, nango gunarak ngarabal kaire, uruman jebam baire ngarak upene, ini ngarak mana.
In 1921, Big Boss witnessed the arrival of new visitors to the Crocodile Islands. With approval from the Australian government, the Methodist Church established the first mission on Yananu country.
She one time mentioned that the white man, where did he come from? All I know is that she said, they got different skin, they're white. Some men would go and touch their skins, you know. What's it like?
Attracted by flour, sugar and tobacco, many Yulnu, including those from the outer islands, gathered on Yananu country.
They gave us those boxes, you know, it's known as cube sugar. We got cube sugars from them. And tobacco, it's like an iron more. You know, every time they could chew it, and it's really hard, because some of them were really addicted.
Construction quickly began on Milingimbi and a church and school was built. English started being taught in schools and the Yulnu way of life began to change on Milingimbi.
Ngai chile, for a long time, ngai chile.
We grow up, we used to use that paper bag. No skirt, no dress, no everything.
Lukango.
But when missionary came, they show us, put this, put on this, so we cover our body.
They could only wear white skirt and white tops, and men without shirts, just white shorts. And they could all go to church every Sunday. They could hear the bell ringing, sit down and listen about the story of this man, Jesus.
When the missions came to Milingimbi Island, the government gave away the land on which we are at Milingimbi and the sea and all the resources around here with the signing of a piece of paper without asking Baymarrwangga or the landowners. It was just given away. So their island was given away to the missions, and the missions were a key tool of assimilation.
As missionary influence grew, English became more prominent. Yananu was not taught in school and it was no longer the dominant language of the area. The land continued to change. Many boats circled the seas and an airstrip was made on Milingimbi, which would later attract the Japanese to the area during the Second World War.
Dr. Japan, Michael Balaprin, General, Woyama Japan do, Barangay Belir, Bilana Banang Japan.
They heard the noise of 100 planes. And they could go, what's that noise? They seen that they were coming somewhere flying low.
They was running around everywhere.
And they could hear the bombs and the machine guns. And they could run as fast as they could. And one of the fellow, he started saying, Nalaba, kalkaba, wirbauba. Nalaba, kalkaba, wirbauba. He was listening as he was running. Where is it now? Is it coming now? There it goes, boom.
Yo, Japang bilena, bangabal. Bangabal bilena. Bunamana, Kanamana Ampara.
Boats, everything was burned up.
Men spoke to the women, hide our children, and you women just hide here and stay quiet. And the women could say, so what are you boys gonna do? I will run up and fight those planes. And the funny part is they could run over, not knowing that these are bullets coming, and they could just throw the boomerangs, thinking they could destroy, and the spears as well.
Ngaraba karamurunga adurla melenbe. Still alive.
With the changes wrought by the coming of the missions, the numbers of Yanangal people declined significantly, and languages from the east became the everyday languages, like Yulungumata, the people's tongue, the language that everyone across northeast Arnhem Land now speaks. So it was no longer an everyday language, and therefore only the old people are really aware of all of its nuances.
Over the years, Big Boss saw her language spiral to the point of extinction. Like many schools across Australia, traditional language was either banned or discouraged from being spoken. Even today, challenges exist for Indigenous groups to speak their languages in schools.
She's aware that language is one of the things that is being lost, and when a language is lost, a culture is lost.
By 1970, the missionaries would officially leave Milingimbi, leaving the Yananu way of life forever changed. Today, only a handful of Yananu speakers remain.
You see, we just eating. This is help the water, clean water. No salt water, fresh water.
They don't know how to speak Yanango language. When they grow up, they hear only Jambarpingo language, my language. Not even one word, single word, they speak Yanango language. Sometimes they speak English, but their own language, like Yanango, they never. Yeah, they never.
Okay, so it's an even number. Well, we should figure out which numbers it can't be.
Nangamana
One digit, so that's...
Yakadwa Jambarpingo ka tipin mata dua skololka.
Well, the government has unfortunately done everything it possibly can to undermine language pass-on and bilingualism. In fact, even here in the Northern Territory, they legislated against using any language other than English in school for the first 4 hours of each day. So it's very difficult when we have such a rich cultural and linguistic history here.
With very limited resources, Big Boss continued to teach her kin the history of the islands. But unlike schools where words are written down, knowledge for Yananu is passed on through stories and participation in activities.
I thought, she's the only woman, she can do that. She's not good enough to talk and to establish on her own. So, she's the only woman, that's what I was thinking. But in that thinking, she didn't care. And she said, Yakka, I'm doing for your future. I know.
And later when coming back to Milingimbi, she could sit with us and say, listen, I will build a future because I have seen you people suffer for 30 long years that you went through persecution, you suffered. I feel sorry for you. I couldn't stand up and fight for you because I'm a female, I'm old. But what I'm trying to do is bring you people back to Murunga, the whole Maringa. I want to teach you kids for the better future. I want to see children go in peace, work. It's your land, I'm looking after it. I want you to speak Yanang.
This is Murunga, homeland for Baymarrwangga.
You know, she could sit down. You know, I'm worried about Bentley. I want him to come back so I can tell him. He's all ears. He listens. I want him to write down Yanango.
Since 1995, Bentley has kept detailed journals of his time spent with Big Boss, recording all the stories and words of her language and island.
Once I'd found out that there was nobody else left who spoke the language, I spent the next 20 years trying to eke out every single word that I possibly could and all of the meanings attached to that long-term experience of country and the language given to country by the ancestors.
She called me out. Come here and sit beside me. Sit beside me, so I can tell you or show you something very special. We was together, sitting beside her, me and Bentley, and she was thinking ahead. There'll be story in that book for them to learn.
Her memory is unbelievably sharp. So it's because of this incredible and fortuitous memory of hers that she's able to be able to ream off hours of songs and the meaning of paintings and the times of the past. But very, very good memory also means that she also tells you, you wrote it down in the notebook yesterday and you have to try and go and find it. She can remember everything. Then she said, now that you know some of these things, I want you to start trying to get my sea country back for my children and children's children and help me pass on a way that young people now can engage with their world here in a way that is consistent with their ancestral rom, their laws, and also necessarily part of a contemporary way of living.
Kanang wall, nunuk manawanga, nani kugarama kapman, open chipul, or the bagamarco, nanukbar narayan nang tripin mata. Yakaw jambar pungo. Nituga tuk tia. Ngatu amarji, ulka. Yan nango wangala nango. Nango yan nango wangala. Ulka jambar pungo, ulka. Kunara jambar pungo nabala.
Recently, improvements of understanding about the history and anthropology of the Crocodile Islands have led to her recognition as the senior traditional owner or wanga watangu by the Northern Land Council and other institutions, including government. And upon receiving that recognition, she immediately gave everything that was valuable to that recognition back to her kinspeople. She said, "This land is our land, and I want you to look after it. So I will hand over the responsibility for the future of this land and the seas and all of the phenomena and the ancestral geography to you, the younger generation."
Big Boss wanted to create a program where people could learn about the island's history, work, and get paid to maintain it.
Together we came up with the idea that a Sea Ranger program might have just the kind of livelihood activities that could get people engaged with what in the wider society we're calling meaningful work, and also from her perspective travelling through their country and engaging with the ancestral essences, the religious sites and all of the phenomena that are particular to this special site, the Crocodile Islands. And the meaning of those things is locked in this fabulous language, and the language is part of the way that the Ranger program works.
Marga tu na priya kalos na perunggu na perdaruk yan nango na pertuka guyangayan kaninayan karum doang kan na pertukanin na jama.
Matur lakra manaunya namanya jama tu raja gorinde ka malanga malara. Ngai turete raja people yolngo ka balanda. Tas kimyo buk magyolngo people ya. Yo.
She came to Mlingimbi and explained to me, when I'm gone, you know, for the hard times, look after my children, your grandchildren. I said, of course we'll look after them. Are you all right? Yes, I'm just worried. But I tell you now, I'm so proud for bringing up Ranger job, because I just don't want 6-7 people working in there. I want whole Maringa children. I want them to learn to look after the area for the sea and the inland, because I've taught lots of children. Carry on. It's also to save others and to save yourself.
Nang kumano, kacara barang ada tapi nango, wana berdana tunba. Awang kala nang kumurongga, ngara berdana tundula, dape, ngara mana nyena. Mantu maraku dah bakin bangun.
This is what we do. All the Yanama people get together here to see dance. Dance is celebrating dance, happy dance, you know, because the young man is coming up, so he will learn his culture when he will grow later, so he won't forget his footstep, father's footstep.
Wanga wanga training bunga tu dia nama rela, yang bala. Right time ngaraku nama. Dua tunang tu nama training bu, betin bu. Dua tunang.
Despite not speaking Yananu in everyday life, special ceremonies are still sung in Yananu language by senior men. Big bosses help the senior men to know the songs and sing them properly.
When I'm singing and I do explain to them, what is all about singing. It's about like where you're from. It's a symbol of Yanang.
Uneding, ngai dual da kumari miringo, wala lang nakon bungawa. Dia ke di group ko. Ay limar nakon ni nangon nilide ka wala to greacher in front nanokal. Wala to greacher ka wala nan ngomarngi. Ya ka wala to yai kor kum greacher yan main makum bilingai ka wala lang ni nangon nilide ngorong ngai.
Baymarrwangga was never destined to be the big boss. It's this amazing giving and generosity, this extraordinary knowledge and her ability to share it so beautifully that have made her the most senior and the most well-respected boss in the whole area.
She's a very important lady. Every young man has to sit down and learn with her more. Not only the ceremony side, but about the land as well.
She teaches about butchering turtle, and the turtle parts got name. She showed us. That's the name of the tiri. That's what she said. It's got all a turtle part. It's got a name.
To end the ceremony, a turtle is cooked in their traditional way. This flatback turtle will feed all 3 tribes. Nothing will go to waste. Turtles have been a vital part of Yananu survival for thousands of years, and the rangers now ensure their population continues to grow.
Ngai ulumando naperendia kiamo wanga diak kaduat turil cil unji di jamo wanga nanguke la cukungen warakan go monok monoga del cingor.
Big Boss and the rangers have established sanctuaries where it is illegal to hunt turtle. This will ensure future generations of Yananu will continue to be able to live off the land.
Reason why women are going round and round, it is we are preparing, doing preparations for the men and for the boys, the 2 boys. That's the place where the initiation will take place in the morning. Baymarrwangga, she's a very demanding person. She commands the 3 clan groups which are known as Maringa. She teaches young men, so she reminds them, sing properly, prepare the things properly, not to abuse the law and the rule. She teaches everyone to learn more.
In 2012, Big Boss received the prestigious Senior Australian of the Year award for her leadership and commitment to preserving Yananu culture.
She said to me, I never thought this would happen. She said, there was no one interpreting for me. I thank Bentley, Dr. James Bentley. He was all ears listening to her speaking in Yananu.
After 20 years, what first started as a dictionary evolved into a Yananu atlas filled with images and history of the Crocodile Islands, all told through the eyes of Big Boss.
And I said, we made a story. And in this book, there are stories inside. The kids, they can learn everything there now in that book. They can read, they can understand and learn.
Because she wanted all of those people from Melbourne and Sydney and Perth, she wanted them to understand this story too. She wanted to reach out to them and say, you should also learn to know the stories of your ancestors and your language. Let this book be a guide to you. And she gave it to 330 libraries across Australia at her own expense. Her own work, her own heart is in that work.
When she was at Maningrida, I called for her, come back, Granny. I rang up, come back. We'll have to work to do. Next day, I heard, passed away. Yeah, and that was my thinking now, thinking too much. Because I always sit beside her, work to do, learning, teaching. She just stopped and finished.
In August of 2014, at the age of 97, Big Boss passed away.
The time at which I last visited Big Boss, we'd already handed out to about 15 homelands It was a really amazing experience being able to travel through all of that country and visit people who were related, who knew something about the story, who knew something about Big Boss. To have the opportunity to give a gift of such profound value with so many wonderful things in it freely to the children who are the ones who are going to benefit so greatly from it. They're the children who will love and adore and come to know even more deeply those things that are so special and important to them, their family.
Me and Bentley was talking, where do we get like this woman, where? And I said to him, you know everything, just as he taught you.
These books were made by a very, very old lady on the island of Murunga. Mangino Murunga? Barco metre ngai ona kale saja. And the lady who made these books was nearly 100 years old. Last week she passed away, but she made these books for you. These books are in 3 languages: English, and in Dual-Dual-Akota, and in Yanango. This old lady wants you to have these books because she wants you to have the chance to learn about your history from a long, long, long time ago. And that is a gift for you. That is a present from the old lady to you.
Yananoo resources have now been developed to help teach the language. Audio devices help children pronounce the words correctly, and local teachers work together incorporating Yananoo language into their education programs.
For 20 years, we sat together in the shade, shared a story, shared laughter, really beautiful, beautiful times. And so in my heart right now, I feel a sense of loss, but at the same time, an amazing joy, having been one of the most fortunate people in the world ever, because I had the opportunity for 20 years to be in the company of, to listen to the words of, to hear the wisdom, to see the actions of a really virtuous human being, to learn how to live really. A path not easy to follow, but once recognised, impossible to deny. A beautiful way of being in the world. And a marvellous lesson, a pathway not easy to walk, but the only pathway to walk. An amazing, wonderful journey and absolutely wonderful. But yes, a real loss to the world, those people who never had the opportunity to meet. I feel very, very sorry for them. Very beautiful human being.
Nango, katunu kuna jamana kuna tundanga ngaraku menikire. Ia nama kumandang wala nyena bala. Rata ngaraku kaji kucira mempala bak mandang ngatama. Ngaraku manjunu jaka bala empanang wala ko ngaraku patawai. Ngaraku menang kuba ngatam rungai ciliango. Yonang kuba.
they had to follow the instructions when a person passed away. You'll call it dikkongo, bungol dikkongo. And through bungol ceremony, you showing your full condolence, sympathy, fulfilling, people dancing and sending her away. It's like helping the spirit travel from the island to meet the ancestors.
I saw a dance that has very rarely been seen outside this island of Murunga, but a dance of enormous significance called Guluro, and a very important dance it is because it's the dance of the canoe that carried the two women that gave birth to all of the children of all of the countries around here, islands that are named that she knew, that she visited as a child. And out among those islands and through the sea, this canoe went, putting those magic and special sacred things in the sea.
Kenny Bonson and his family never ever attended any family funerals all over. They've always got stuck and struggled. So one day I said I could use these people to go to Murunga one day and see how this life is and learn more about Big Boss. And I said, this is your chance to get away, go and learn, see your family, the culture. He's a culture man, but it's just that we bring him back and reminding him now. So he's here watching, and he couldn't believe it. He just sat there, crying, and he was so touched. He said, thank you so much, sister. You brought me here now that I can see reality. And the children are happy too. Now they feel comfortable. Now, if anyone wants to say in the community, that's what Big Boss said. If you want to say, I'm being desperate all the time because I need to smoke and drink, she says, Big Boss said, that's just an excuse. But if you go to an island, and if you see, things will change you. You will face reality and become a real person.
Her funeral ceremony will last for 4 days, with dancing every night at sunset.
Today is going to be Burumo, and this will let people know that it is time very soon, as soon as they finish these two other songs, to put it in a resting place now. That's how important it is. She showed her love, so much love for her children that she said, I'm trying to set an example or be a role model for all of you how to manage your living. Now, I want to be your great leader. And she was a great leader. She was not only the great leader, but she also wanted to teach how to look after your culture and your language. And there's been a lot of improvement. Lots of children learn and think and sing in Yanango.
I am thinking about who's going to be a leader like our mom.
Who's going to be the next big boss?
No. Nobody. Nobody.